Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passager. One of the great organists of the 20th century, E. Power Biggs, was born March 29, 1906, in England, but he spent most of his life in the United States. Reading about him reminded me of organ recitals, and that reminded me that the same term is used as a label for conversations, especially involving older people, about their ailing body parts. To celebrate E. Power Biggs' birthday and organ recitals, some pieces that Passager writers have written about their body parts, not to complain, but to create images and meaning. First, from his book The Uncorrected Eye, Harry Bauld's poem, In the Street Without My Glasses. Blur sips at the blue bowl of morning. The heart, old mole, noses forward to sense something of steel, maybe of stone. Without a lens, the filth is gone. Unrefracted men and women regress toward a trembling Monet mien. Trees and marquees go dumb in the warble of sky, and even nameless cars dodging their promised manslaughters gleam like starlings under bus faces, smeared to leaf and petal. Someone crosses the street, a tremolo of arm, a shudder of color, smooth to one age, race, and sex, as light as that shadow shimmering off the asphalt. Like the distant desert heat, the true flicker we may be. The world before the uncorrected eye brims, marbles, quivers over its boundaries, wells. Harry Bauld's poem, In the Street Without My Glasses. Next, Michael Brodin learns that he needs a pacemaker. I had always prided myself in having a slow heart rate, but too much of a good thing isn't necessarily a good thing, and a heart rate can be too slow. The symptom that led me to this conclusion was a peculiar lightheadedness which made me feel like my brain was being replaced by helium. Once in early February, while merely walking down the street, it seemed that the volume of helium had reached a critical level and had actually replaced that portion of my brain tasked with keeping me upright. As I continued walking, the choice before me became clearer and clearer: sit down or fall down. My pulse was 38, well below the normal limit, generally considered to be 60. This condition is called bradycardia, for which I well knew there was only one treatment: an implantable pacemaker. I view life through the lens of the apocalypse rather than the pearly gates. I concentrate on the negative. To me, a risk-benefit ratio is most accurately depicted as a risk-benefit ratio. And so a pacemaker to me meant possible endocarditis, pneumothorax, and myocardial perforation with cardiac tamponade, not an existence blissfully free of palpitations, dizziness, fainting, and strokes. So it was that I somewhat reluctantly consulted a cardiologist who, after suitable testing, confirmed my diagnosis and treatment and set me up for the operation the very next day. From Passager, Issue 70, excerpts from Michael Brodin's My Heart Belongs to Medtronic. We'll end with this piece about wrestling with the realities of an aging body. Katherine Briccetti said she started writing this next piece in her head while she was trudging up Mount Etna in Sicily. Excerpts from her piece, Facing the Beast. My heart beat so rapidly I feared stressing it to the point of a heart attack, and I simply couldn't catch my breath. I needed to stop again. Watching the others continue, I felt shame. I was like the woman previous hikers had complained about in reviews of the trip, the one who misjudged her ability. I was the one who was not fit enough after all and should have never signed up. I imagined stopping and turning back and hated the idea. My favorite t-shirt reads, "Nevertheless, she persisted." In 6th grade, my best friend and I rode our bikes 20 miles in a bike-a-thon to raise money for a children's charity. Then when I was 45, I walked with 3 girlfriends from San Jose to San Francisco to raise money for breast cancer research. On the 3rd day, despite training for the walk for a year, I injured my knee, and when I should have accepted the van ride to the finish line, where my partner and young sons were waiting for me, I insisted on hobbling along, with my knee taped while swallowing ibuprofen. Now on Etna, I feel both shame at not keeping up, and shame at the possibility of quitting. I knew I would not make it. I did not want to suffer a heart attack or a stroke. I would be embarrassed by my age and inability to finish. I would be upset with myself. I didn't know what quitting felt like. When I started the day, I assumed one thing. I would hike up and down a volcano and capture a fantastic view with my camera. But something else happened. Cicely's mama did not mother me. She kicked me in the ass. I admitted weakness and ultimately defeat. It hurt, sure, but I'll remember the euphoria I felt on the way down, the sureness that I had made the right decision. I have a tiny scar on my ankle now from Etna, so I carry both a physical scar and an emotional one. But I know both eventually will fade. And for now, I thank her for being the one to show me what I can survive. From Passager's Winter 2025 issue, excerpts from Facing the Beast by Katherine Briccetti. I said at the beginning of this episode that we older folks refer to our talk about our ailing bodies as organ recitals. And it's true. Many of us, as we get older, have more and more body parts that just don't work as well as they used to. At the same time, it reminds us that we can still attend organ recitals and concerts, that we can still play in them, that we can watch sports but play sports, that we can still read, and that we can still write. It reminds us, as Tennyson said, that even though we are not now what we once were, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made strong by time, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. To buy Harry Bauld's book, The Uncorrected Eye, subscribe to, donate to, or learn more about Passager and its commitment to older writers, visit PassagerBooks.com. Passager offers a 25% discount on the books and journal issues featured here on Burning Bright. Visit our website to see what's on sale this week. For Christine, Roseanne, Mary, Asher, and the rest of the Passager staff, I'm John Shore.